One of the most common ways that you see pros like Venno, Muzz, as well as loads of others citing the fact they got so good at fighting and so good at the game is just from doing 100 1v1s a day. No fancy aim routines, no crazy mechanical maps and practicing piece control. Instead, they just do 1v1s and they just do a load of them every single day and get the volume in terms of practice. So what I'm going to do is put this to the test. I'm going to do 100 1v1s a day for as long as I possibly can without breaking the streak, and I'm going to see exactly how much improvement I can get while doing this. So to start off this challenge, guys, as I said, I'm going to be doing it for as long as possible, but I'm going to be trying to hit the 30-day mark and see how much improvement we can get by day 30. And on day 1 right here, I'm looking pretty rough, if I'm going to be honest. My mechanics are very slow. I was getting pieced up by Boop a few times, wasn't looking the best. So as you can see, not the best start for day 1, but I think this is a very good benchmark to get in. Now, coming into day 2 right here, this is where I actually noticed a massive spike in my improvement. And this might sound silly because we're only on day 2 of, a 30-day challenge. But I've noticed with Fortnite, whenever you go ahead and just change up your routine completely and you do a load of something brand new that you never normally do, you actually get a huge amount of improvement. So you guys want to take something away from this video, make sure you go ahead and just swap out your routine once in a while. I was doing a bunch of new things on this video, like edit resets that I never normally do, just from that first day of 1v1s and getting 100 reps in. Now, on to day 3 of this challenge, I did my usual 100 1v1s, and I thought it'd be a good idea to blow ahead and play some ranked, and actually just get some in-game fighting practice in after I've done my 1v1s, to sort of get a benchmark, a test of how good you're fighting. And that's one thing I'll circle back to later, but if you just do loads and loads of creative practice, sometimes you actually lose your in-game skills. It's one thing I've noticed from coaching loads of different people and pros and things like that. You actually do somewhat lose your in-game fighting ability, so I want to make sure I try to maintain that as best as possible throughout this 100 1v1 challenge. So I played a bunch of ranked and I felt I was playing a lot better. I was pre-piecing people, I was doing good window peaks, I was hitting more maxes, and I was just honestly playing 10 times better than I normally do when I just hop on and play ranked to that warm up or something like that. Day 4, again, I did the 100 1v1s and I decided to go ahead and play some 2v2s. This is one thing, if you're doing something like this, guys, don't just sit there and only do this as your practice. Try to add something else in afterwards. I actually noticed that when I was playing these 1v2s, I was actually flying about. I was doing all sorts of stuff that I've never done before, and I hit this really nice clip, as you can see right here. Day 5, guys, and I was noticing I was absolutely moving in some of these 1v1s. I was definitely just getting a new element of piece control that I never normally do, going upwards, going different angles, getting better at predicting people when they're doing different things, making myself more unpredictable. I was doing a bunch of things during these 1v1s that I don't normally do, and that was just because, again, I've done 500 1v1s at this point in just 5 days. You learn so many little things, like just learning how to read other people, learning exactly what peaks they're going to do, learning how to outplay them in different scenarios, and I noticed a massive amount of improvement just from these 5 days. I'd really recommend at this point that you guys just try this for like at least 5 days and see how much better you become.
I think my map has this. I was playing a lot of it today and I didn't even
Day 7, so officially 1 week of doing this 1v1 challenge, and I again decided to go ahead and hop into some ranked and play some duo ranked to reset. Basically figure out how much am I actually improving when it comes to in-game fighting, or am I just sort of getting better at 1v1s within a vacuum. And again, my 1v1 ability at this point was getting so good. I was hitting lots of nice clips, I was doing a lot of different things, but my ranked fighting, as well as just how good I was at editing consistently in game, was getting a lot better. So I'll let you watch this clip just to hear what I mean. Benno said that was the best. Like, a lot of pros say that as the main thing that helped them get good.
That's true,
it seems kind of simple, but one thing, my fighting feels got 10 times better since we used to always do your map, just reels and films. But since we started doing ones, I feel like my mix is so much better.
Yeah. Just like it's like you build a surplus of the basic mechanics.
Yeah, like, and just also the speed. Right now, just fucking full triple this right off the go.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, so I've got a very important thing to talk about right here. This guy is absolutely cooking me in 1v1s, right? It's 9-5. I don't think I've lost a 1v1 in the past, like, while of doing them. Literally, like, the whole time I've match made, I don't think I've lost a single 1v1. But whenever you get against somebody who is just cooking you and they're absolutely destroying you ones, that is the best player to go up against, because you can actually learn what parts of your playstyle work and also what parts of your sort of 1v1 playstyle that you need to adjust, right? As you can see, this guy's 10-5ing me. He's absolutely cooking me. He keeps shitting on me each round. So what I'm going to do is now adjust my starts. I'm not going to try doing the same start that I normally do, since this guy keeps getting height. Instead, what I'm going to try to do is do smarter peaks, so I'm not exposing as much of my body, and then also try to catch him on some moves that he's doing a little bit too much, right? As soon as you 1v1 somebody a couple times, you can do this after like 3 or 4 1v1s. You'll know what sort of high ground takes, what builds, what double edits and things they do, what peaks they like to go for. Try to read that all as you do 1v1s, so you're going to be in a much better position when it comes to, you know, the later rounds and trying to catch up and score. It is so important when you get against somebody who's better than you that you don't just leave, and instead you try to learn how to counter them, rather than, you know, just getting annoyed and not learning what sort of playstyles that you're doing don't work, what edits and things you're doing don't work, and also what they are doing that works. If you come against somebody who's better than you, it is the most important thing that you learn to figure out what you're doing wrong and also what they're doing right. It's not just a one-way street. You've got to learn what they're doing correctly and what you're doing that's not working. Day 12 now, and this is where I noticed that my actual piece control as well as my prediction was getting so much better during these 1v1s. It basically felt like my entire time I was going ahead and fighting against some random person, I could exactly read what playstyle they were doing. I'd learn exactly how they were going to peak, how they were going to play, and I was always one step ahead of them at all points during the fights. Again, guys, it doesn't take a drastic amount of effort doing this amount of 1v1s, but it definitely has huge improvements when it comes to your fighting ability. Now on to day 14 right here, and this is where we hit officially 2 weeks of doing this challenge, which I thought would be a good check-in to go ahead and play a bunch of ranked and basically just see what my in-game improvement was, especially when it comes to duo fighting, because in 1v1s you're only realistically practicing, you know, a 1v1 scenario. There's no outside factors like map and things you need to worry about, third parties as well as the other teammate. So I wanted to see how much improvement I was getting just from doing these 1v1s when it came over to transferring into ranked, and I actually was getting absolutely loads of kills. I was, you know, kill stealing a lot, which is good because it means you're helping your teammate finish fights, as well as I was going ahead and doing a lot of plays I never normally do when it comes to ending fights fast, just because of in ranked, you know, normally you play a little bit more cautiously, but after doing so many 1v1s, I was very confident to just do a peek, do a play, knock somebody or get an insta kill, and then go ahead and heal up and go on to the next fight. Now onto day 18 of this challenge. There's a bunch of clips I got from 1v1s from on this day. And one thing I will say is that my mechs were getting so good at this point, like genuinely so good at this point. I was winning so many more angels and things like that when it came to jumping in boxes and just hitting a bunch of AR shots after. I was getting a lot more confident, just learning the timings of the guns. And as usual, my piece control was getting a lot better, like predicting people were going to go doing a good peak extremely quickly. Not having to think about doing a good peak, just doing it automatically. All of that was really improving on day 18, I definitely noticed so far. Now on to day 20, and this is where it's not all just sunshine and roses. It's actually noticed a couple bad things from only doing this amount of 1v1s and, you know, a little bit of ranked, a little bit of tourneys. And it's something I'm going to talk about in this clip with Reese. And it's just that you start doing incorrect plays, because in 1v1s there's really no consequences to doing these plays. Like you just respawn, or, you know, you just pop some heals, or you just fight with your low HP, which you never normally would do in game. So 1v1s can reinforce bad habits a lot of the time. So in the next following days of realizing this, around day 20 mark, I actually decided to start playing the 1v1s completely differently. I tried to matchmake and make sure I get against better people more often. I wouldn't just 1v1 people, I 1v1 the whole time, or 1v1 really bad players. And I started playing a lot slower. And you'll notice it in this clip in the background, but playing a lot slower forces you into making sure you're doing a good peak the majority of the time, and you're not just rushing and sort of building and editing for the sake of building and editing, which is really important when it comes to transferring it over to in-game fights. So around day 23 right here, you'll notice I'm looking very slow, but I think my actual aim was getting a lot better, like how consistently I was hitting max damage and 100+ pumps every single time I shot my gun, as well as I wasn't taking as much unnecessary damage in the fight, which is really important when it comes to transferring over to in-game fighting. On to day 25 right here, and one thing I will say, if you're doing a lot of 1v1s, the amount of people who just rage quit after being maxed or killed a couple times in a row, and they don't even think about how they can actually get better and how they can actually work on their fighting. As soon as they die a couple times, they just leave. So if you guys are one of those players, do not leave the 1v1, stay in, try to work on your fighting versus somebody better than you, try to work on your playstyle. And again, that's kind of thing, if you're slowing down your playstyle a lot, people tend to just leave immediately and they get annoyed that you're killing them and things like that. So don't be one of those people just leaving instantly. Try to stick in the 1v1 for as long as possible. Now on to day 27 right here, and I actually did a bunch of 1v1s and then got into even more 2v2s. And I can't lie, when you've done this many 1v1s and you're going against somebody who's, you know, not playing the game a lot, not grinding a lot, or is a little bit older, like Bloodex for example, you will absolutely piece them up every single time. Just because you are moving so quickly when it comes to the edit speed and mechanic speed doesn't necessarily mean you're doing the best plays the whole time, but because you just have that speed advantage built up, you'll be playing so much better than them and be very easy to take them out in a fight. Alright guys, we are on to day 30 of the challenge. I'm just doing some more right now. And I kind of just want to give you my honest thoughts about the whole time doing it. And to be honest, I actually think this is good to do, but definitely learn your sort of limit with playing and sort of practicing and things like that. Like, for me personally, I had so much wrist pain towards the end of the challenge just from playing too much. It was actually kind of ridiculous. Like even now, like just finishing these bunch of 1v1s and things like that. The final day, I'm like 60th 1v1 or something. Like, it's not looking good, and I feel like it's definitely impacted my play, like just not being able to play as much, not having the motivation to play because of I've just done so much. So you have to figure out like how long 100 minutes is going to take for you. And for me, it takes like an hour or so, to be honest. Like, for whatever reason, just doing a load of 1v1s, it always just takes ages because people just don't want to die and don't want to fight. But like, this guy's just building away from me, you know. Yeah, and it's been a little bit ropey on the old wrist pain and the old like soreness to the fingers and stuff as well. If you guys don't know, I actually stopped playing after World Cup and things, after I got like a bunch of like top 50s and good placements and stuff, because of wrist pain and things like that. That's like one of the main reasons I became a coach. And it's a little bit rough getting like back to that point, you know, where you're not wanting to play or not able to play the game as much as you want because your wrist is like in the mud, you know. So yeah, not the most ideal thing ever. Either way, I definitely feel like my actual fighting in game has got a lot better. Like my fighting creative has 100% got better. Like just my ability to do stuff quickly and, you know, have less flaws while playing. As well as my aim, like my just max aim, things like that. I will say I have noticed my like tournament play getting a lot worse. Like my ability to just win a 1v1 in like duos or something, I feel like actually has got worse for whatever reason. Which isn't ideal. I don't know. It's one of those things that you do so much fighting practice and stuff, and then you actually get worse in solo cash cups and things like that, because solo cash cups aren't actually about fighting in the slightest. Like solo cash cups are literally all about, you know, just playing smart and winning a game, right? Even in opens, because it's just how the format is. Same thing in duos. Like now duos is way more biased towards placement. That I feel like me and Reese's duos placements have actually got worse. We did have one good week, like at the midway point in the challenge, but since then, the duo placements have actually been worse, just based on, you know, what's going on. So that's kind of my thoughts. I just wanted to do this one like a bit more like impromptu while I was actually doing a 1v1. So I can be a little bit more honest with you guys and not just like, you know, pre-recorded going over. Yeah, so basically, in summary, wrist pain is back. That's not ideal. Finger pain has also appeared. Pain in the other side of my hand has also appeared. But my ability to just shot on somebody in 1v1, like this kid, has got a lot better. So take that as you will. Also, shout out to Resub's new map. I'll leave a link down below if you guys want to play it. I think that'll be my next like mechanics improvement video will be on that map. All right, in a bit, guys. Appreciate you watching.